All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Rock and Roll Geezers Show, your weekly outlet for rock news. And right off the bat, I want to thank very much the new viewers we're having. By God, new viewers we have, and by golly, we got some comments there finally, and we sure do appreciate it. And it's good to know we've got some really very intelligent people out there listening to us. And all I know is, when I look at my situation, all I know is what Socrates once said. And Socrates once said to himself, "All I know is that I know nothing." And that's way to go, Socrates,
uh,
or as
Socrates.
or as we all know him, Socrates. Yes, oh, that yes, absolutely. Yeah,
And what is it?
Billy the Kid, watch Socrates here while we go check out those historical babes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
that
the Beethoven,
Beethoven, sure, sure.
Beethoven and Socrates. And Socrates
Oh,
told it
that
takes a
was so
wise
good.
man to realize he knows nothing. Yeah,
That was so good. The Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was great, and Bogus Journey was yeah. But then they put out a third one like 4 years ago or something, and I
yeah,
went into
yeah.
the movies and saw it, and I don't remember a thing about it. That's how exciting that was. So in
Okay.
any case, yeah, phooey on that, Louis. But again, thanks everybody for stopping by. We got a lot to talk about on today's show. I'm telling you what, there's a whole, if I may, plethora of stuff to talk about. We got Nikki Sixx in the news, and got Motley Crue, of course, a Blondie in the news, Puddle of Mud, a few RIPs we need to talk about, and all that good stuff. But of course, can't do it by myself. I'm your host, Murph, and my co-host is right over there, up there by Wayne's World, and that would be Doc Fox. How you doing, Doc?
Yeah, yeah, doing quite well, quite well. Yeah, thanks for everybody for checking in for another week. As you know, we do this every week, give you all the interesting stories from the rock world that we think you'll enjoy. And yeah, this week's no different. Got a few of them, and starting off, one of our show faves has a couple stalkers.
Oh, Nikki, there's Nikki Sixx. Yeah, Nikki Sixx he's been stalked.
Oh
And
yeah,
apparently one of his stalkers has been rearrested for violating a restraining order. And that's the thing, that's the problem with fans, having fans, because, fans is just short for fanatics.
exactly.
And obviously there's some people that just are fanatics, and they always, we see this all the time, where fans have taken it too far and actually
Yep.
broken into houses and stuff. So yeah, he's a 65-year-old. He resides in Wyoming,
That seems to be a
for
thing.
crying out
We've
loud.
learned that Ivan Moody from Five Finger, he lives there too. So that seems to be a thing. Maybe folks are kind of getting out of the hustle and bustle and out to Wyoming. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. He says Stalker One from Tennessee has been arrested again for breaking the restraining order again, and is also being charged with resisting arrest. There's a guy out of control for sure. Been a hard
lady,
month. Happy to be home with my family. Thank you to my legal team and the court system. Boy, I hope they got a hell of a court system up there in Wyoming. This ain't New York or whatever, where it seems like it's catch and release. Hopefully they'll do something for this guy because what's the next step? What's his next move? If they let him out,
well, this is a gal.
a
This is a
gal.
gal. Yeah, oh yeah.
Ooh, all
And
right.
apparently has made threats against his family and his wife and child and all kinds of nasty business. So he's kind of said it kind of goes with the territory having kind of stalkerish kind of things, but
No.
yeah, it goes too far. And so this is the second time this person's been arrested. And as he said, this is stalker one. There's stalker two, who is currently awaiting sentencing. So I guess they've already been to court and awaiting sentencing at this point. So
Geez,
yeah, he's got a couple of them that making out of line threats, and I don't get that. If you're a fan, why are you? Or maybe they're not fans. I guess you just assume that they are, but maybe
fanatic.
they're
Yeah.
not. And making threats against your family, I don't know. I would love
Boy,
to
oh
sit
boy,
down
oh
and talk to
boy.
these people, or maybe I wouldn't, but at least for a little while, a couple questions anyway.
Just to see what the heck's going on.
Right?
But it's something to troll on the internet or whatever. But you actually start taking it and doing it, actually putting it into motion. Well, then, boy, they gotta be put in jail or something. But somebody like that is, yeah, that's they're twisted, and once they get out, don't expect them to stop. I'd be amazed, but crazier things have happened, but I'd be surprised because that's sort of like the stalker way is to just.
I wonder if she found out that he's not really playing bass, if she'd start stalking Bob Rock's house, man, or something, you know.
Oh, well, if I may move on to another article about Motley Crue. And this I pulled off of the metalden.com. And they were listening to Eddie Trunk, the Trunkster. And I just need to read this long paragraph because it sort of blew me away. Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, John Five, and Vince Neil of Motley Crue continue to be deceptive with their blatant usage of AI technology in the studio, miraculously having avoided the major controversy surrounding their band after they engaged in a new candid conversation with rock industry, quote, yes man, Eddie Trunk on his Trunk Nation, while making no apologies for their mistreatment of Mick Mars or the fact that the court is making them now pay the 73-year-old's legal fees pertaining to his lawsuit against the band, which also confirmed that everyone but him used backing tracks on the stadium tour. Now the Crue says they have a second single canceled, and probably the name of the single
That's the name of the single,
that they
canceled,
plan to release as follow-up to disastrous Dogs of War, which industry insiders say was 100% AI composed and generated.
No
There
shit.
we go. There we go with the AI. Well, I went on AI and I gave it some lyric ideas. I got like 25 sets of AI lyrics, but they're but that's me. I'm not a big rock star. I'm just some doofus sitting at home, watching
Yeah, they're putting it off. They are officially the laziest band of all time, man. They're not, they're fake playing on stage. Now they're not even they're using AI to write a song. Oh, what's the point? What is the point?
Yeah.
And so this is a couple single. Yeah, they had the other single, Dogs of War, 2 weeks ago. It was real recent.
Mm-hmm.
And now this one, and they keep saying, "Oh, there's no album. We're just doing whatever we feel like doing and putting it out or whatever." Like, okay, but which I believe. I don't think there's going to be an album because by the time it came, these songs would be so old that they have to be something totally different. So, but
well, let me move on. Let me go on. The band members shared insights into their plans for a new album reflecting a quote spontaneous burst of creativity, unquote, despite Tommy Lee, Vince Neil, and replacement guitarist John Five saying recently they only have 3 new songs completed after 1 year of writing and may only release standalone singles and not a full-length studio album as originally planned. It's been 16 years since Crue released a proper record. Without Mick Mars' legendary guitar prowess, fans all around the world feel the band is nothing more today than a nostalgic tribute act living off its past glory days. The Crue, quote, canceled their New Year's Eve arena gig at the end of 2023 due to poor ticket sales and are now booking gigs at the State Fair in 2024. Guess who's playing the Illinois State Fair this year? Motley Crue. Yeah, so there's truth to that, obviously.
Well, to say that they got John Five, man. Come on, they got John Five. I mean, this is one, this upper echelon, man. This is no up and coming guy. This is an established, known creative entity, and they have to go to AI, and now, oh my gosh.
Well, I don't know if you've seen, but there's a video out there of a May 3rd. I think it was a May 3rd gig they did recently, just last week, and an audience member was zoomed in on Vince Neil, and he is totally 100% lip syncing without dispute, no ifs
and not very well
buts.
Either.
Not very well. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. When your face is a foot away from the mic because you're looking at the what is it, the teleprompter, and your voice is still singing. Well, that's problematic. Boy, oh boy. So in any case, there you go. There's my
you bring up Eddie Trunk, and that's I like Eddie Trunk. I listen to him from time to time, but he's so inside with all these artists. There's no way he can be unbiased. when stuff like this comes up, he's going to defend. He's not going to look at it through the same lens as somebody being, or through a critical lens. He's just not. He just knows these guys too well. He's known them, all these rock stars, all these metal guys. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword, to be an insider, but then you get to be friends with them, and it's hard to be critical. But
well, that is a double-edged sword. But here's an interesting little ditty. I always love this picture right here of Blondie.
Oh, but real quick, before going on that Motley Crue single, they say it has an Aerosmith swagger to it. So what did they do? Put it into the AI, write us a song.
Write us a song that sounds like Aerosmith.
I'll bet they did, man. Oh my God.
I keep seeing these AI pictures on my Facebook feed. And they stand out like unbelievably. No matter how authentic they try to be, you can tell.
Oh, you can always tell, yeah. But I'm sure they'll get better to the point you can't. But now,
but that's the same with AI music, though. You can sort of tell. I guess if their last single was 100% AI, hell, why not stop? But that's why it bombed, because there was obviously no human feel in it. It was all
but then they give the line, just as the it strikes us, we're gonna get together and put out some music. Well, no, you're gonna sit on the AI and then figure out what. Oh my God.
Oh boy, yeah, I knew it. I knew this was gonna be trouble. Here's something though, Blondie. There she is, Blondie. Apparently, they're putting out some new jams here, eh? The headline reads, Chris Stein confirms Blondie will be back with a new album very soon. Holy smokes. That's amazing. That's pretty,
she's
cool.
She's up there in years too. I mean, she was a little older when they were first hit. So she was 30, 32 when they hit. So obviously they're from the CBGB. You got the CBG. They're from the whole CBGB scene, and so they got the three. Chris Stein has always been the brains kind of behind the outfit, and Debbie Harry being the front woman, and then of course the drummer Clem Burke's been with them the whole time. So those are the three kind of mainstays. Okay. And Chris Stein, he's had a lot of health issues over the years, and he doesn't tour or anything. But I've seen Blondie twice. And pretty, they always got some young studs filling in, some young, gunslingers filling in, and
like Alice Cooper.
Like Alice, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. And they put on a good show. But new album come out, man. I don't know.
Well, they released their latest album back in 2017 called Pollinator. So and then they threw a new song in 4 years later called Yuletide Throwdown, which was a collaboration with Fab Five Freddy. So now they're coming back with more. So
they refer to Fab Five Freddy in the Rapture, that song Rapture, and it has the little rap, Fab Five Freddy. Well, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, you would know, man. I don't know shit, but you know. The key to knowing everything is realizing you know nothing. There we go. I'm good with that. I'm really good. But yeah, he says, we definitely have another one in the can. We're just getting it mixed at the moment. So, it's already done, basically. Hopefully it will be out at some point in the near future. So it's already been recorded. It's just being mixed and then mastered. And then
Clem Burke's a hell of a drummer, man. He really is. You listen to some of that older stuff, even like Heart of Glass. You heard the song a million times, but just focusing on the drumming. That guy's a monster. I kind of rubbed elbows with him one time at an Avengers show. Band, not the Goofy movie. There's a band, a punk band, San Francisco punk band from back in the day, the Avengers. And I rubbed elbows with him at a
Mrs.
Avengers show one time. So, but no, not even those Avengers.
I had the hots for Mrs. Peel back in the day.
Oh God, what was her name? Diana Riggs.
Diana Riggs.
Oh,
Diana Riggs.
Yeah.
With that tight black outfit, and she was fighting crime all the time.
With Patrick. Oh God, what was the guy's name? Monahan.
Oh no! Oh gosh, doggone it!
Oh man, no, we're getting off track.
You blew my brain out.
Track here.
But
we do remember Diana, but anyway,
good for them. Good for them. Good for Blind. What the hell? Too many people are unable to do shit these days in terms of their music just getting in age and whatnot, which we'll talk a little bit about more later on. But
I remember one of the times I saw them. They were on during the day, and it was at a festival, and the sun was like right on. It was like right on her, man. It was just like she couldn't see anything, and she's just complaining about it half the show, man. It's like this is not a good time to be doing it on this stage. They should have it
That's
facing away from the sun. And
yeah. Well,
you know,
that's the worst thing ever. If you're
yeah,
playing at a hot day with the sun beating down on you, that's horrifying.
yeah.
That's just horrible.
That was more
I
blinding than
I
anything. I
hated
mean,
it.
heat wise
Well,
too, but yeah.
yeah, just yeah. No, no, I really hated that. So I can't blame her. I'd be bummed too. I always hated that when we had a gig where had to deal with the sun because just a pain in the ass. Speaking of a guy who I believe is probably a pain in the ass,
Yeah.
there he is, Wes Scantlin, lead singer of Puddle of Mud. And what he did, he's been seen performing with a whole new lineup of musicians. Holy cow. This guy, it must still be Puddle of Mud. He must have the name or something.
He
I don't
must,
know.
yeah, he must be the
Oh,
axle of a puddle of
gosh
mud. He owned the
almighty.
rights and everything. So yeah, he's done this a couple times. This is the second time he's done it now. We're just gotten rid of everybody and started all over. Yeah, we've talked about him a few times over the couple of years, and yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy
Very troubled.
I'd want to be
Very
in a band
troubled.
with. Yeah,
No,
so
no, no, no. Yeah, boy, Wes. Come on, Wes. Yeah, yeah. Man, he's been in the news a lot in past years, and it's all scandalous. There's really nothing good about it. So I imagine,
oh yeah, he's
yeah,
like showing. Oh god, what was one? It was a house he used to rent, and he showed up drunk trying to get back in, and oh gosh, he's a couple instances like stuff like that. So he's a little out there, and
Ah,
I
so
think
Wes,
probably he needs some counseling, but whatever.
but you're right though. Obviously he's the problem, and it's got to be hard playing in a band with someone like that. But to change the whole lineup, that man, they must have, I figured the rest of the guys said, I just can't, they got together without him and said, I just can't take this shit anymore. I'm making, $100 a night. It just
Right,
ain't fucking worth
right.
it. Whatever, so he's obviously out there playing again. So we will see where West shows up. I haven't seen anything coming around here, which is fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like he's the cancer trying to get rid of the body. It's like, dude, it doesn't work that way, man. You're the problem, man. Try to work on that. But
Man.
I'll keep firing all my bandmates till I quit. I guess
Well,
I don't know.
I'm sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a shame because it's one of those bands who knows. They might have made it bigger, but really they're just a footnote
Yeah, they kind of
and
rode
a
that post grunge kind of their coattails on that.
well,
But
yeah.
they had their time. They had a couple pretty good songs.
True that. True that. Oh, here we go on an update
I wonder if
here.
he told the guys, "I'm gonna take it all away."
Oh yeah. Oh, no matter what you say. Yeah. Well, I'm sure he ain't. He ain't got. He ain't doing well, so he needs to play. But here we go. Here's the guy we saw a couple years back, Brian Wilson. We talked a little while ago how they were seeking conservatorship for him since his wife passed, and she was usually basically taking care of his
Yeah,
daily needs and whatnot. And it just came out this week that the folks taking care of him have been granted conservatorship, and so he's going to be in good hands for the rest of his life, and that's all that's important. I mean, but the music he gave us, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just I'm glad he's going to be well taken care of, and this is with the blessing of his daughters, Carney and I can't remember. So, but so I'm sure they realize, if they agree to it, I'm sure the two people taking care of him will do right by him, and that's a good thing. So what do you
yeah.
think
His
about that?
wife passed not within a year, right? 6 months ago,
January,
something
well,
like that. January.
January,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that recently, yeah. And she pretty much took care of everything. So yeah. We
yeah.
were fortunate to see him a couple years ago, man. I know we bring that up every time we talk about him. That was one of those moments, man,
That
for
was a
sure. Yeah.
very special moment. So yeah, his publicist Gene Stevers and his manager Leanne Hard are going to be his conservators, and they've had a real close relationship with Wilson and the wife for many
Right. Yeah, they've
years.
been the yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's going to be well taken care of and
Yeah,
good,
they'll have his
you
best
know.
interest at heart, so for sure.
And
Hey, real quick, man.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead, man.
No, real quick, I don't know if you saw this.
What?
Foo Fighters show. Dave Grohl,
Yeah,
favorite of the
no.
show. We like to talk about what Dave Grohl's up to. So he's up on stage and breaks into Van Halen eruption, right?
Yeah.
But it's not him. And then the light shines. It's Wolfie. Wolfie's up on
No
stage jamming
way.
on some eruption. The place just the place erupted. and
I'll be
yeah,
darned.
just
No kidding.
yeah. So that
Wow.
was a pretty cool moment, man. Yeah, I just saw that yesterday, so that was pretty cool.
I'll be darned. I have not seen that yet. I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
show up though. Oh yeah, yeah. Grill always has some, something cool coming up. One time he had some guy dressed up in a Kiss makeup and come up and he gave him the guitar and the kid. I can't remember what song he did, but he was spot on and just
Yeah.
rocked his ass off and gave the kid, the time of a life. I swear to God. So good deal, man. But I'm glad to see Brian Wilson in good hands, and that's all I got to say about that. All right, moving on. Sadly we've got a few RIPs we have to run through here. The first, well, you probably won't recognize this picture here. Who's that? Is that a machinist or an electrician? But no, he was Dennis Thompson, the drummer of the almighty MC5. Dennis Thompson, the drummer of MC5, passed. He passed on May 8th, a week ago, 5 days ago. And I was unaware. Truth be told, Doc, I was unaware he was still alive. I thought Brother Wayne Kramer was the last living member of the MC5
Yeah,
group.
when Wayne Kramer passed, we brought it up on the show, and I think we said that we thought that he was the last member, but we were mistaken.
We
And
were totally mistaken. Yeah.
Dennis Thompson's still kicking around, so at least he got the award of the Hall of Fame nod.
Yeah, at least he knew.
He didn't make it to the ceremony, obviously, but at least he found out about it. So I guess that's something.
I'll
At least
be
one of
darned.
them was still alive to hear about it. So
Yeah, most definitely. And here they call MC5 a proto punk hard rock group. Proto punk, which
yeah,
they were everything, man. They were the best. And this album behind me, this is the album cover for Kick Out the Jams, which is a monster album in the history of rock, quite honestly. I think it's just unbelievable.
yeah. I think
And
if you're a collector of rock albums at any level, man, that's one that you gotta have. I mean, and we talked about it. Their debut was a live album. Who does that, man? Who does that? No, and MC5 did it. And
darn right.
they had two other albums after. They didn't quite match up to it, but then they kind of died off. But
Yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
were the first, real hard rock band. Punk goes back to them, metal goes back to them. They were that band. So
Yeah,
and
it's
finally getting their due in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, yeah, such a great album. Live, like you say, and just raw. All the mistakes, all the feedback, everything's there, but it's just
yeah,
perfect.
crowd noise and just all that. Yeah, it's all just perfect, man.
So he played with MC5 up until the early 70s. They split up, and then he went on with they call it a super group, the New Order, and then
New
the
Order, yeah.
Motor City Bad Boys, and then the Secrets. And but quite honestly, yeah, his the MC5 was his main claim to fame. And that ain't too bad of a claim to fame to have. Influenced by Elvin Jones, Keith Moon, Mitch Mitchell, Motown. Can't have better influences than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was it was a sad to see him, all these 60 folks though, they're way old now. All our 60 heroes are way old. So I'm not really surprised to
He's
see.
what, 75, I think. Is that
Yeah,
old he is?
75. He died of a heart attack. Yeah, yeah. So hey, they're all up there rocking now. Oh boy. You, you imagine all them guys back together somewhere. Wow. That real Rod Tyner, Fred, Sonic Smith. Oh yeah, married to. He was married to
Oh, the
who?
Patti Smith, yeah.
Patti Smith. Yeah, Patti
Yeah.
Smith, the singer. Yeah, yeah. So there you go, man. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. And there's also sadly, another passing that I'm not too familiar with this cat, but you were, and that is
Absolutely.
Steve Albini. Yeah,
Steve
yeah.
Albini, 61 and
Wow.
passed. And this is a guy, I was surprised how much I saw his death on even like mainstream media and regular news outlets. They brought him up. I didn't think of him as a household name at all, but he was an important guy, man. He was the guy, the alternative guy that produced Nevermind. He produced Smashing Pumpkins. He produced, a lot of that early '90s alternative stuff. He was the guy. His roots go back to the early punk, and he's from Chicago, early punk in Chicago. And there's a documentary called "You Weren't There." The early punk in Chicago. I mean, such a small scene, very few people really, but he was, and he influenced a bunch of guys coming out of there. He was in a group called what was it called, Big Black, and then later he started a band called Shellac. And I saw Shellac. They opened up for the Stooges the first time I saw them. And they were a little different. And one thing I remember seeing him, I've never seen anybody else do. He's a guitar player. And instead of having the guitar strap over his shoulder, he wrapped it around his waist and did it that way. I thought that was
Really?
pretty cool. But yeah, this guy's engineered. Well, he did an interview in 2004, and he says, at that point he'd engineered over 1,500 albums. So he knows all the ins and outs, and the real artistry of it, the real craft of it. I mean, this guy, he's one of those guys, man. Just yeah, definitely. He did Page and Plant. He produced Page Plant, the project, or maybe he may have just engineered that, but he worked on it. And yeah, like I said, not a household name, but definitely a guy. There was a short time there in the early '90s where Chicago was kind of the alt rock capital there for a little while, with Smashing Pumpkins and Urge Overkill and Liz Phair
Liz
and
Fair,
bands
right,
like
right, right,
that.
right.
And he was a big part of that, and really spread his wings from there. And then like I said, from there worked with Nirvana and everybody else. So
He worked worked on in Euro, and he mixed everything down, and he thought it sounded fine, but the powers that be weren't happy with it, and they actually brought in a guy named Scott Litt and Andy Wallace to remix a couple of the hit songs. Although he says for the most part, uh, uh, they left it alone, but they did remix, and he was pissed off about that.
well, that's the thing.
He was
He's a
not
he's a
happy.
he's got the punk ethos kind of going. So yeah, I can see that. He's not
Eh,
looking for a pop
Well,
hit.
in terms of the album, yeah, he says on the final mix, he said the record in the stores doesn't sound all that much like the record that was made, though it's still them singing and playing their songs, and the musical quality of it still comes across. So, he wasn't happy that they touched his stuff. And in terms of he wasn't happy with Lollapalooza. He hated Lollapalooza. He said Lollapalooza is the worst example of corporate encroachment into what is supposed to be the underground. It is just a large scale
I could have
marketing
said better.
of
Yeah,
bands that
yeah.
pretends to be alternative, but in reality, just another facet of the mass culture exploitation scheme. I have
True
no
that.
appreciation or affection for those bands, and I have no interest in that whole circle. If
That's a
Lollapalooza had Jesus Lizard and the Melvins and Fugazi and Slint, then you could make a case that it was actually people on the vanguard of music. What it really is the most popular bands on MTV that are not heavy metal. Wow. So he
yeah.
had
That's a
an
pretty good quote of
opinionated
his.
dude.
That it's pretty typical of something he would say. Kind of, you gotta get a pretty good idea where he's coming from with that quote. So,
Wow.
yeah, no, I liked him and thought he was an important guy. And rest in peace, Steve Albini, man.
Yeah, how about that? Boy, oh boy. Moving on, here's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I
The
like this story.
Blue Ridge Rock Festival. Well, apparently the 2029 version's been, or 2024 version's been canceled, and they're still dealing with the 2023 festival. And we thought we needed to look into this, so we did. And what happened in 2023 that You brought this up, Doc, that basically every ticket, if it's an outdoor event, every ticket basically has that warning, hey, if it rains, tough, you're SOL. But there's a lot more to the 2023 festival, apparently. Bad planning, bad execution, and at some point, all the roadies quit.
For all the
That's
stagehands, yeah, yeah,
stagehand roadies,
yeah.
whatever. They all quit. So, ooh, but they're still dealing with the aftermath of last year because apparently they got sued. They're dealing with multiple lawsuits, and it's just one big stinking mess.
Yeah, it
What do
was
you?
like a 4-day fest. They had 23. So they start off on Thursday. Coheed and Cambria, during their set. I guess it started experiencing some rain or some bad weather. So they pulled. They stopped for the evening. So they had bands lined up for that day. They had like Five Finger Death Punch, one of our
Ooh,
whatever, I don't
mm,
know what we want. Stain, another one with the Evanescence,
stained.
but they had some big bands. So then Friday they went off the show. They did really as regular. But then Saturday they weathered the anticipation of bad weather. See, that's where you kind of get they
Uh-oh.
anticipated bad weather. It wasn't even raining yet. So I don't know the exact how the weather was that the whole day, how but yeah, so
Wow.
anticipation of that and Sunday as well. So Saturday they're
Oh,
done now. We're
oh,
done. We're anticipating bad weather, so we're
oh,
calling it.
no, 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 no.
So yeah,
Oh,
the people in the know were saying, yeah, there was stage hands that just left because it was it was like the fire festival basically. It was like the fire festival. Man. They weren't prepared. Just everything was crap and just So I guess they're just, instead of it's like I said on the back of the ticket, it's always rain or shine, whatever. But if they're not performing,
yeah,
that's
wow,
a whole. I mean,
sorry.
I've been to Riot Fest where it was raining, dude. I mean, it was raining, man, and
Yeah,
we still had still went on with the show. You were just out there in the rain, and
yeah, geez, unbelievable. I'm not, well, they brought it upon themselves, what do you do?
so they're still in the process, I guess, of trying to working on the refunds from 23, and there's also they got the refunds from 24 that went on sale when the 23 ones went on sale.
Oh,
So
boy.
these are, that went on sale way, way, way ahead of time, a full, year plus ahead of time. And then now, yeah, they're in the process of refunding all, and I guess that's a nightmare as well for them. So
No
yeah, this
doubt.
this reminds me a lot of the Fire Festival, man, a lot of
Oh,
it.
wow.
Although this
Well,
seemed to win off maybe a little bit better, but yeah,
geez,
not by much.
these, the hippies, they knew what they were doing in 69, Woodstock was nothing but a mud fest. If you remember that guy on stage, look behind you, the weather, the weather. I think it was after the Santana set. It just started going to hell in a handbasket. But yeah, they screwed up. It's one thing to let people know it's going to rain, but you still got to put the festival on. As long as
Uh-huh.
the performers don't get electrocuted. Hey, the people out there, they bought their ticket, they know it, but to say, oh, it might be bad tomorrow too. So,
Yep.
it's a
Yep.
no, that right there is bam.
Well, I guess yeah,
Eh,
lightning is the big stop. But even remember
mm,
just the wind. They had that one was the Indiana at the was it
yes.
oh god was the
Wow.
Sugarland concert? Yeah.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Took down the
so
whole
yeah, there's definitely
stage. Yeah.
liabilities for bad weather, but in anticipation, I don't know, man. I don't know. But
Anticipate this now.
obviously, it's not holding up because they got to refund all this money. So
Yeah, yeah. Hey, here's a look at there. There he is, a name we haven't heard in a long time. That's Steve Perry. Holy smokums. Steve Perry has re-recorded a Journey deep cut with the sons of Steve Lukather and Phil Collins. Of course, we all know Phil Collins' son. We saw him on the final Genesis tour, who was playing drums because Phil was having to sit out front on a seat because his he's totally gone. But his
yeah,
drummer's great. So how about that? Trey Lukather and Nick Collins. They got a new band called The Effects. And they've employed the services of former Journey frontman Steve Perry on one of his band's old tunes. How about that? Steve Perry, boy, we haven't heard basically a peep from him in forever. Wow. What do you think about
Yeah,
that,
he put
man?
out something not too terribly long ago. But yeah, that's from the 86. So it's a little past their heyday a little bit, but for the tail end of it. Raised on Radio album had a song, It Could Have Been You. And I'm not familiar with the song, but I watched the video of their interpretation of it, and I don't think the world needs it. I think we could do without it. But nonetheless, Steve's doing backup on it, and their singer's name, I love his name, Emmett Lee Stang.
Stang?
Stang.
Let it
Emmett Lee
hang,
Stang, like
Stang.
like
All right.
Mustang, yeah.
All right.
Emmett
Let it
Lee
hang,
Stang.
Stang. So he
But
just singing backup. He ain't even. Oh my
yeah, he's
goodness.
singing backup. And
So they're just using his star power. Quite honestly, a pop.
yep, yep. Because
Jiminy's.
we're talking about them and there's news articles about it. So yeah, now we know. But now we know they exist.
Well, Lukather says, Steve and I go way back. Because he's
Oh, I
married to
bet.
a daughter of Journey's Jonathan Kane. So
Oh
there you
wow.
go. So there's your connection right there.
Well, even so with his dad,
Lukather's,
just I'm sure they've all
uh,
intermingled and known each other and whatever.
other than Pop, Steve Perry's been a mentor to me. When he
Yeah.
heard the effect, he called me and expressed how much he really loved what we were doing. It meant the world. On the same call, I started raving about a deep cut Journey too. It could have been you. We'll see what happens, But yeah, good for them. Good for them. Scooby Doo. Here's something. Okay, before closing, Doc, I gotta complain about. Maybe we complained about this before. I don't know, but I saw this list and it just blew my mind. There's a list of bands that haven't been in the Hall of Fame, and it is
Bands that haven't
or
been in the Hall of Fame or haven't won a Grammy.
hurts. It hurts, Doc. Have you seen this
Is
list?
this bands not in the Hall of
Let's
Fame or
look
bands
it
that
up.
haven't won a Grammy?
It hurts so bad. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix never got a Grammy, but that back then I'm not surprised really. But Queen never got a Grammy. What the hell's going on with that, Doc? Jiminy creepers. Queen of all people. Beach Boys. Beach Boys never got a Grammy. These are like some of the best artists ever. Diana Ross, never a Grammy. The Who never got a Grammy. Doc, come on, man. Shoot me. All right. Buddy Holly, one of the legends, no Grammy. Journey, we were just talking Journey. Journey didn't get a Grammy. No shit. Wow. Patti Smith, we were just talking about her husband. No. Bob Marley, no Grammy. Janis Joplin, no Grammy. Guns N' Roses, no Grammy. Ramones, no Grammy. The Doors, no Grammy. Grateful Dead, no Grammy. Here we go. Here's the kicker. Here's the final line. But Kanye West has 22 Grammys. Wow.
All
There's
right. Well, not
there's
to be a
no
Grammys apologist or
case.
anything, but
Wow.
to say Kanye's got 22 and all these other bands, they've expanded. Over the years, it used to be very few categories. You had best record, best album, best song, best art, whatever. And
Enjoy
best
your
video,
steak.
best
Good night. Yeah, yeah. Because
and
back in the
now
day,
they've expanded into rap and hip hop, and metal and all these other ones. So where some of those artists, there wasn't a category for them to win a Grammy in, for many years. So
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, it just shows the Grammys just whatever. I mean, you know. They
It
go with
is what it
who's
is.
popular at the time. It's like 1980. So many great albums put out that year. So a great year for albums, man. So many. You know what won for Grammy of the Year?
What?
Lionel Richie. So it's like, it kind of shows, just going for the ear candy kind of thing back in those days. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, it is what it is. I saw that list on it. Just sort of put things into perspective. 22 Grammys. So, geez. I don't think I know. I'm sure I've heard a bunch of his songs, but I don't remember any of them. But good for you, Conway. Whatever. He
Kanye, not Conway. You know Conway
Con,
Twitty? What?
I'm tired, Doc. Man, I don't know why. I'm really tired today, man. Although the sun's coming out, so time to get my acting gear. So thanks everybody for stopping by, and hope you'll stop by again next week. And so why don't you take us home there, Doc?
Yes, sir. Another week in the books, and as you all know, we do this every week. Or if you don't know, you do now. If you're just joining us, definitely welcome the new viewers. I got a few last week, so it's always good. And don't lose us. The best way not to lose us is to hit that subscribe button so you can catch up with all the rock news every single week. We do it every Monday, and we'll be here next week. Hope you are too. Until then, have a great rock and roll filled week, everybody.